that sucked.
Huh.
We have Braden's Evo in here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with this car?
It's a 08 Mitsubishi Evo 10 GSR 5-speed. It's a street car, full interior. It's got a built Busher racing motor in it. It's a 2.2 stroker. It's got manly bottom end, darkened sleeves. It's got a Precision 6870 ball bearing turbo, ID 2000s, E85, E98, triple disc clutch from Exity, GSC S3 cams, rear valve train, ported head. It's got custom hood dump set up by Robert Posick at TPG Tuning. They did most of the, I guess you call it renovations on it, current updates. Jason Slater, Nathan Silveri tuned it on a Mustang dyno. It's got a Jax transmission, built 5-speed, DSS drive shaft. Rest of the driveline is stock right now, so.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the engine management and why you went the way you did with it?
It's got a Motec M150 on it. It's got a lot of fail safes. It's all fully integrated, so it works with my OEM controls. So I still got AC, heat, radio, all that, which is nice. That's what I wanted. I want to be able to take it to the track and then go cruise out on the street, still have all my accessories.
This thing did not miss a beat while we were at the track either. It was incredible how well this car ran. It was a really, really well-built car by TPG. Very, very good tune on it as well. I think it was the only thing that was consistent.
Yeah, there were a lot of good running cars there, but a handful of them seem to be having some issues.
I'm talking about between the car and us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
35 degrees. With these guys on it, they were not having it, but it still did really well. You ran a 10.46 at 143?
Yeah, 1046, 142 miles an hour.
There it is.
Gotta work my 60
car.
foot a little, but we're getting there.
Awesome. All right, so what's the plan today? What are we doing?
We're just gonna do a once over. We're just gonna make sure nothing's broken underneath, nothing's leaking or anything. Make sure a couple weeks ago at the track didn't ravage anything, so we're just gonna give it a little once over for winter. And then probably go to TPG again, get some more updates, and then hopefully next race season will be ready to rip and dip into the nines and make sure it still stays together and see how we can do.
That 10.4 was run when it was 34, 37 degrees out, somewhere in that area. So
yeah, it was cold.
it was pretty impressive. We were losing all of our time off the line for sure. It would either stall or blow the tires off, which any all-wheel drive guys would understand that. But I think once it warms up, we can get the tires to plant.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely a low 10 right off the get, but there'll be some learning curve because you're sending it back to TPG to have the entire hot side done, right? Because your turbine housing's choking it out?
Yeah, it's choked out right now, so it's got a V-band on it, which typically flows really well, especially high-end, top-end power, but we're gonna go to a T4 style manifold by BS Fab, new dumps, and it's gonna be twin wastegate, so it's gonna be a T4 twin scroll, twin 38mm wastegates. We'll get a T4 housing for the turbo, probably do a 110 or 115 AR, and then we're gonna do BS Fab intercooler piping.
Larger?
Larger, go to a 5-inch intercooler.
What's on it now?
It's got a 4-inch.
Okay.
It's either going to be a 5-inch ETS, or I'll probably have Brandon Smith do his own in-house
custom intercooler.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of throwing the idea around of maybe doing like a drag brake kit, cut some rotating weight, and then I can run a 15x8 bulk with the MTs on them.
Very nice. Yeah, I don't think rotating weight's the major killer in this car. It'll definitely help, but the idea is, for anybody that doesn't know, these brakes are too large to fit a wheel that's any smaller on it. The sidewall, again, for anyone that doesn't know, the sidewall is really, really good for launching on a drag tire. So these don't wad up. They did a little bit with the amount of power this car is making, but they don't wad up to help it jump off the line. So if he goes to a smaller brake, he can run a smaller wheel, which will allow him to run a bigger sidewall tire. and that'll help them get off the line. So what tire would you run?
Probably Mickey Thompson. That seems to be the choice, or a Hoosier.
What size? So 20, is it 24 by 8? 20 by 8.5?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so it's typical drag tire. I was gonna say, because these look like about a 24, maybe a little bit larger. But yeah, those will definitely help you get off the line. So next year we've got to kind of regroup and learn the car again, because we're gonna be going, what, another 100 horsepower, maybe more.
At least, yeah, hopefully.
And then different tires, and the car's gonna be completely different. So I would say if you get all of that done, we'll definitely be in the 9s. I think we could be in the 9s with the way it is right now with warmer weather, but yeah.
Got the air pressure a little.
So what is, since this is a full interior car, everything's here. I mean, there's no funny business here. The only thing that's been stripped off this car to make it any lighter is the exhaust. And that was just due to the fact that he wanted a hood dump, and the exhaust was honestly too large to run under the car with the drive shaft. So what is going to be your line with this car where you decide to gut it? Is it the difference between a 9 and an 8?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured. I imagine maybe not gut it, just pull everything out of it to make that run and put it back, because you want this to stay a nice street car, right?
Yeah. Maybe take the seat out, back seats out, passenger and back seats out. I'm kind of tossing the idea around, maybe doing like a carbon trunk. I'd like to get rid of the spoiler. A lot of people say they leak, but I think you get a good quality one, get some seals. I know a lot of guys who run carbon trunks, they haven't had issues, but
No, you won't have too many issues with this thing being out in the rain anyway.
plus I like it's garage and I like the carbon look. So, and I mean this spoiler's heavy, it's real heavy.
We need you to explain the license plate.
License plate, so corn obviously is what it runs on, ethanol, corn-based fuel. Bread comes from my recent job, my previous job, I should say. They messed up my name tag, so instead of Braeden, it was Braeden. So I earned the nickname Bread. So when I purchased the car, I thought, hey, you know what, it's gonna be on ethanol, use my nickname, so I came up, so hey, why not cornbread? So I went to the BMV and inquired about it, and the lady looked at me and said, oh, it's available. I was like, I'll take it.
Very nice.
Why not?
It fits perfectly. All right, let's get this thing up in the air and see what we find.
All right.
We got the car up in the air. We're gonna take a look at what, we know we had a leak at the track of the transfer case. They saw it on the ground. The good old boys at Marion, they are pretty awesome. They said that as long as it's not leaking all over the place down the track, then you can keep running it. So we did do one more run, but looks like he's got some transfer case fluid back here. Looks like it made it kind of far, honestly. So we were told by the DSM guys that it's just finding its happy place, but it seems maybe like it might be a little much. So we're gonna dig into this and figure out what's going on here. Explain the drive shaft to us.
So this is
A lot of
a
people find these to be pretty attractive.
drive shaft shop at the tongue twister, for me at least.
Yeah,
Carbon
twister's
fiber,
right.
2-piece shaft. Replaced the OEM 3-piece shaft that looked awfully sketchy, if I may add. A lot stronger, a lot lighter, a lot better power transition from the front to rear. That helps with launches and stuff, which I think I've noticed a huge difference since I put it on. A lot less hop and jump and just a lot less lag of power going to the rear. It still favors the front
Yeah, for
quite
sure.
a bit.
It always will.
Which is normal, but it definitely has made a huge difference. It's held up great so far. So
Awesome. All right, let's start cleaning some stuff. All right, explain to everybody why I'm breaking these clips off the front of your car.
I had to run to Arby's the other day. I had to keep my fat face. I had to get my hand Swiss slider in. So I was going around. They got it set up real weird in the Marysville Arby's. You had to literally make a lap around the place to get in the drive-thru, and I hit a manhole, big water drain, I guess you call it, and it ripped this side of the front lip, the rubber piece. So I just drove home and took the rubber piece off, and now we're just taking the little bracket pieces off that it tightened to.
Do not get between this man and his Arby's.
Had curly fries too. Delicious.
All right, so we got quite a bit of garbage out of this catch can here. Luckily, it's all none of it's really oil. It's all pretty much just ethanol condensation that collected in the catch can, but I dare you to put your nose over that and squeeze the bottle.
Ugh.
Do it. Do it. It's like a distillery in there, isn't it? Yeah.
Not as bad as I thought.
It's honestly kind of pleasant, but it'll still mess you up. I'm gonna try to get the rest out of there. This syringe is a little big for this job.
Man, I'm kind of hungry.
You want a drink?
Oh, God, no.
Ugh.
Ugh.
It's not gonna focus.
Empty. Oh, there we go. It's cool.
Yeah, for the most part. Put your filter back on there, right way. Take that. Ugh. Ugh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it also looks really good. It's mostly alcohol and water. There's a couple little chunks of oil in it, but oh, you know what? Actually, the oil's probably diffless.
Could be worse.
Are you still running a spare tire, huh?
Look at that.
That's gotta go. All right, so now what we're doing here is we're trying to harden up the rear dampers based on what we saw at the track last week. Try to maintain doing this one-handed while I'm working the phone, but the dampers are pretty well hidden. There's the ridiculous fuel system in this car. It looks like a nuclear reactor, man. It's awesome. Wiring's actually pretty clean. Not having an aneurysm over that. What's in that?
It's got 3 Walboro 450s in it. And it's got a Walboro 450 in the OEM tank that feeds it.
So there's 4 fuel pumps in this car.
All the fuel. Next best thing, next to mechanical.
All right.
Oh, this is more street friendly.
Street friendly. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if that's necessarily. The knob is right there. Now I can see it a little better. We're gonna go 12% harder. We found out there's 25 clicks on these, and we need to rotate them counterclockwise to harden them up. 25 clicks, 4% per click. 1, 2.
I got 3 on mine.
3. You're able to do it one finger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's 12% harder on the rear dampers. I'd say that's a good starting point based on what we saw last time, unless you think we should go more, but
Leave it there. We'll start.
I was going to say 12 is as close as we could get to 10, so
It's not that long, but hard to get to.
yeah, it's not too bad. Maybe when we get to the track next time, we'll just take that piece of plastic out to start and just leave it out.
Yeah.
That way we can get to them and play with it. Why is this still in here?
That's a good question. Probably cut about 4/10 off my time on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely not helping. Okay. Stereo, of course, that's got to stay to maintain the full car thing, but I don't know, I guess unless, are you driving it around the street with the slicks on it?
I will in the summertime.
Yeah. That's such a gangster move.